To approve, do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in Council A, thank you. One moment, please. Yes, ma'am, Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. I should have asked during the budget committee. I just simply forgot. I don't think this ordinance state the purchase price. Is there any limit to the purchase price?
25,000. Was that in the? It's in the analysis.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I have 8. Do you have 8? Next is BL 2016-200, sponsors Anthony Davis, Pradmore, and Elrod. This authorizes the acquisition of 2 additional parcels for the construction of the Gibson Creek Equalization Facility as part of the Clean Water Nashville Overflow Abatement Program. Sponsors here, and I have a letter to boot, cover all the bases. Do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Bills recommended. Next is BL 2016-204. Sponsors O'Connell and Elrod. This authorizes 506 Church Lofts to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 506 Church Street. I have a letter to approve, and the sponsors are here. Do I have a motion? Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Bills recommended. Next is BL 2016-181. Sponsors Anthony Davis, Pradmore, and Gilmore. This approves a lease agreement between the Metro Social Services Department, Metropolitan Homelessness Commission, and City Road Chapel United Methodist Church for the use of additional office space. And I do have a letter to approve. Would the sponsor like to speak? Yes, sir, Mr.
I will just repeat myself as I did in budget and say we're very excited about this up in District 7 and City Road, and hope you can approve it.
Great, thank you. Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Councilmember Johnson, you're not asking to speak again, are you? Okay. Your light was on. Great. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-182. Sponsor is Allen. This abandons a portion of Alley 893 right-of-way and easement. I would move approval. Any second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-183. Sponsors Allen and Van Reese. This abandons a portion of Sharon Road right-of-way. And I do have a letter to approve. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-184. Sponsors O'Connell, Allen, Elrod, and Jeremy. 4 sponsors to abandon a portion of Gay Street right-of-way and easement, and I do have a letter to approve. Is there a motion? There's a second. All right. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. Next is BL 2016-185. Sponsors O'Connell, Allen, and Elrod. This abandons a portion of Gay Street and 10th Avenue North right-of-way. I do have a letter to approve. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Great. Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-186. Sponsor is O'Connell, Elrod, and Allen. This abandons a portion of Taylor Street right-of-way and easement. I do have a letter to approve. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-187. Sponsors Syracuse, Pradmore, and others. This authorizes the Director of Public Property Administration to execute a quitclaim deed for the portion of the right-of-way of State Route 155, Briley Parkway, and McGavick Pike Interchange, and accepts consideration in the amount of $98,000. I do have a letter to approve. Would the sponsor like to explain this? Councilmember Syracuse.
Thank you, Chair. This is basically a piece of right-of-way that is not really needed by the state or Metro and is part of a potential future development for Ryman Hospitality.
Great, thank you. Any other comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Bill's recommended. Bill's on third reading. Next is BL 2016-137. Sponsor is O'Connell. This changes 3.79 acres from IG to SP zoning for property located at 1400 Adams Street to permit a mixed-use development with up to 20,000 square feet of non-residential uses and up to 259 residential uses. I have a letter from the sponsor. Is there a motion? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-166. Sponsor is Roberts. This applies .55 acres of a neighborhood landmark overlay district to property located at 4909 Indiana Avenue, and the sponsor is here. Do you have a motion? Move. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right, bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-167. Sponsor is Murphy. This changes .94 acres from IR to MULA zoning for property located at 4100 Charlotte Avenue. And we do have the sponsor here. Is there a motion? Move. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-168. Sponsor is Bedney. This changes 6.72 acres from AR2A to SP zoning for properties located at 6960 and 6968 Nolensville Pike and 7203 and 7235 Old Burkett Road to permit a maximum of 5,200 square feet of automobile convenience and restaurant uses and all uses permitted within the CL zoning district with some exceptions. And I do have a letter from the sponsor. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-169. Sponsor is Scott Davis. This was disapproved by the Planning Commission and referred to us. This changes 0.16 acres from SP to SP zoning for property located at 1212 Pinnock Avenue to permit 2 detached homes. I do have a letter from the sponsor. Is there a motion? It's been moved and seconded. I do see some people wishing to speak. Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you, Chair. The council member wanted me to, I guess, speak for him or handle it for him on his behalf. He's traveling back from Florida today, so he called and said he had something, and I'm just passing along. I'm the messenger here, but he said his neighbors are for it. He doesn't have any opposition in the neighborhood, and he's asking the committee please to approve this and move it forward.
Thank you. Next is Councilmember Amina Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. If you would, planning staff, quickly, briefly explain the reason for this approval.
The Planning Commission and the planning staff both determined that 2 detached dwelling units in a neighborhood maintenance policy mid-block is not appropriate or consistent with the goals or intent of the neighborhood maintenance policy.
Thank you. For that, I understand the sponsor would like our support to be consistent with the planning, zoning, and policy standpoint. I would like to disapprove this bill.
I understand. Thank you. Next, Councilmember Sledge, do you wish to speak? Yes. I lost you. Yes.
Yeah. This is a follow-up for planning. Can you describe briefly what the SP is changing?
The SP is proposing 2 detached dwelling units on the property. So this is a request to change from one SP to another SP. The existing SP permits detached accessory dwelling units on some lots. However, this detached accessory dwelling unit must be secondary and also cannot be fee simple conveyed. So this would allow for 2 detached single-family units.
I'll also add that the way the units are arranged on the lot is significantly different as far as the rhythm and spacing of the existing buildings along the street, where they're putting 2 skinnier buildings where historically there's been 1 structure.
Just one quick follow-up, Chair, thank you. Are there DADUs allowed for behind each of those detached units?
In this SP, there are DADUs that are permitted with some standards.
Thank you.
Councilmember Murphy.
I think you answered some of my questions, but okay, so if we don't pass this, they can still build 2 detached homes on this unit, just one would be behind the other and smaller in height. Is that correct?
They can build one primary residential structure along the street and then a subordinate structure in the rear versus the layout of this SP where there are two buildings side by side.
So would they both be able to be, and this is showing some of my ignorance on dadus and things, but so the building in the rear would be how much shorter?
It has to be subordinate to whatever the principal structure is and cannot exceed 27 feet in height.
And does 27 feet, does that allow like for a 2-story home?
A story and a half primarily.
Okay. I am, if I can allow for a comment, I'm just concerned about that this is a neighborhood maintenance. You can already do 2 units with the current SP. I'm confused why we need to change this SP in a neighborhood maintenance policy. Again, a lot of these, we're seeing a lot of zonings come up where we're overriding the planning commission, and when we've got Nashville Next, which is relatively still new and young, to be ignoring it, and especially mid-block like this. It's not on the end of the street. You can already do 2 homes. I have some serious concerns about this rezone, and I'm going to have to disapprove, to not vote and support, because I think that when you're already allowed to do so much with this, I'm not understanding what the need for these little tweaks are for.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Did we already have a motion? Yes. There was a motion to approve, so we're voting on the motion to approve. All those in favor? Aye. 2. All those opposed? There should be 9 people in this room. I think I know who the council members are. Okay. So far, I have 4 votes out of 9. I'm not sure that constitutes a quorum. I'd like a show of hands. Excuse me? We have a quorum in committee. Correct. I would like at least half of the committee to vote on this, which we don't have yet. So if I can ask for a show of hands for those who approve the motion to approve. Thank you very much. 5. And a show of hands of those who oppose. Okay. Thank you. Next, we'll move to BL 2016170. Sponsor is Freeman. This changes 3.5 acres from CS to SP zoning for property located at 311 Carter Street to permit up to 92 residential units. And I do have a letter from the sponsor asking for a 1-meeting deferral. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of a 1-meeting deferral? Opposed? I'll take that as all voting. Okay. Okay. Next is BL 2016172, sponsors Roberts and Rosenberg. This changes 23.93 acres from SP to AR2A zoning for properties located at 6950 Charlotte Pike and Cabot Drive unnumbered east of River Road. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Bill's recommended. Next is BL 2016174, sponsors O'Connell. This changes 0.3 acres from R6 to SP zoning for property located at 1116 Ziegler Street to permit up to 5 residential units. I have a letter to approve. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is recommended. Next is substitute bill 2016175, sponsors Wiener and Rosenberg. This amends. Is Wiener still around, or Rosenberg? I don't see a sponsor in the room. Rosenberg? I'll keep reading. This amends 5.78 acres of the Harpeth Springs Village Specific Plan District for property located at 7960 Coley Davis Road. To permit 64 townhomes where 98 units were previously approved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? I thank the sponsor for rushing back in. All right, seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? Very good. Are there any late items? If not, then I will declare this meeting adjourned.